When it comes to food and beverage OEM, there is absolutely zero margin for error. In the new normal, everybody is focusing on safety, and above all, anybody getting sick as a result of any contamination and any company involved in that is going to be liable for some serious scrutiny. So today's talk is going to be all about hygiene within the OEM space. And no better person to speak to us about this is Kenneth de Meulemeester from Verder. Kenneth, thank you so much for joining me on scottkundle.com.
Hey Scott, thank you very much for the invitation.
So, hygiene in Europe right now, it's the top of everybody's tongue. Everybody's talking about it. A lot of people under scrutiny. Tell us about within the manufacturing process, what needs to be done to make sure that hygiene is number one priority.
Well, hygiene is indeed the priority for the moment. It's the most important part. If you, of course, want to create safe foods, you have to make sure that your process is cleanable. You have to make sure that you don't have any bacterial traps, that you don't have any infections or risks on infections, to make sure that the end product is actually from the perfect quality or the best possible quality, taste, smell, things like this. It's very important.
So you've got to maintain the taste. We understand that. And I think that's what food manufacturers are obviously looking at as the number one priority. But now there's a serious risk that if something goes wrong, it could be quite bad. Rubber particles, plastic particles. Just tell us a little about how some of these risks can actually occur within the pumps.
Well, the problem is if you work with components that are not cleanable or that not are perfectly cleanable, let's say it like this, there's a very big risk that you get some infection in your pump, that there are some bacterial traps that will stay in the pump and will infect the next batch. So, for example, you're going to transfer dairy products in batches. If your system is not perfectly cleanable, the next batch can be infected by bacterial traps from the first batch. So in this case, you will make your complete end product, all your end products, you will infect it with kind of bacteria that you don't want in the system. That, of course, will ruin the taste of your product.
Wow. Okay. So there's a serious risk there. Now, you've mentioned this concept of cleaning and the importance of cleaning many times. Can you take us through the technical side of things? So how do Verder Pumps specialize in cleaning and making sure that there's zero margin for error?
Well, I think that we have to start here first by giving a little bit of explanation about the types of pumps. In the centrifugal world, for example, you have two big types of pumps. You have what we call the more industrial pumps, where efficiency is the most important part. And then you have the more hygienic or cleanable pumps, where cleanability is the most important part. Now, what is the difference? For example, in an industrial pump, they will work with dead zones. They will create some what we call dead zones. These are zones that you don't have any speed from the liquid. Why do they do it in industrial pumps? If, for example, our abrasive parts are in the fluid, the O-rings or the mechanical seal can be damaged the moment the abrasive products or parts get to the O-rings, and damage also the O-rings to make sure that there is no closing anymore from the pump. In a hygienic pump, we are actually going to put the O-rings or the elastomers in the fluid stream. Why? We want to make sure that there are no dead zones, to make sure that these O-rings are perfectly cleanable. Also a mechanical seal. The mechanical seal is the part where you're going to close the shaft from the motor or the pump. And there, it's a very hard to clean part. What are we going to do? We are going to create some more space around this mechanical seal to create some actual turbulence. Now you're going to say, turbulence, we don't want any turbulence in a pump. Yes, that's true. But in a hygienic pump, you do want this. Why? You need speed to clean. So to clean a pump, you need a certain speed in your pump, and you have to make sure that all the parts of your pump can be cleaned on this way. And that's why we're creating a little bit more space around the mechanical seal to create the turbulence. We're going to put the O-rings in the fluid stream, but also our surface finish. We are doing a standard electropolishing surface finish on top of our 316L stainless steel to make it perfectly cleanable. What are we doing with this electropolishing? We are just going to make the surface a lot smoother to make sure also nobler, so that there will be more noble materials to the surface that will make it more resistant to all kind of acids, but make it also a lot smoother to make sure that all kind of fluids cannot stick to the surface of the pump. And also, if it sticks to the surface of the pump, in a cleaning process, it will be much easier to clean actually the pump. And this is a little bit the difference between industrial and what we call the more hygienic components.
Now, Kenneth, this concept of perfectly cleanable sounds amazing, and you've given us the technicality behind it. But how much extra time is it going to take? How much more extra effort? How many more man hours is it now going to have to consume to achieve this pipe dream of being perfectly cleanable?
Well, the nice thing about this is that you're actually going to need not so much manpower to do it, because also you don't have to use so much cleaning acids to actually clean the pump, because of the surface of the pump. The product will not stick that good to the surface, so you don't need so much time, so much effort to actually clean your pump or make it completely cleanable. This is a big advantage, but also, and I think this is the most important, not only the cost or the manpower that you have to put in there, but the end product. For every food manufacturer, the end product is the most important part of the system or their business. And if the taste is ruined, then yeah, they have a lot of other problems than only the manpower to clean a pump, of course.
Interesting. So your technology, because it's so much cleaner already and it doesn't stick to the surface because of the way that you've designed those pumps, therefore they're actually even easier to clean. Is there anything else from a technical perspective that you can just get across that actually explains the process, especially with regards to things like polishing, CIP cleaning place, et cetera, that can actually provide the peace of mind that can actually say this concept of being perfectly cleanable is very, very real and very doable?
Well, I think the combination of everything in a pump, or in a hygienic pump, is the most important. And the combination of the electropolishing in combination with the O-rings in the fluid stream, with combination with the turbulence of around the mechanical seal, this is the most important. Of course, we also have to look at the pump physics. We have things like NPSH that is very important, because especially in food industry, you're going to work with very high temperatures of fluids, especially also on your CIP. This is the part also that you need a pump that is actually that needs a kind of that has a very low NPSH required to make sure that your pump is actually working. These things are also very important. Of course, next to this, also in design, the efficiency is important. Okay, we can say cleanability is the most important part in the pump, but we have to make sure also that efficiency is also very important. We don't want to spend a double amount of power to do the same job as an industrial pump. And yeah, on that way, I think the whole combination of everything makes it to a perfect component for the system.
Thank you, Kenneth. And definitely the next step is for obviously to have a conversation with you, so you can obviously have a look at each particular specification and each particular plant in detail and go from there. Now, can you just tell us a little bit about Verder to finish off? I mean, which countries are you in around Europe, and how do you generally operate, especially during this time at the moment?
Yeah, on this moment, yeah, the way of working is a little different of, let us say, 1 year, 2 years ago, where we, of course, had a lot more actual physical contacts with the customer. But we are changing our strategy a little bit on this one. And of course, we want to interact a lot more with the customers on another way. Where are we located in Europe? the countries like Belgium, Netherlands, UK, France, Germany, and then also a lot of East European countries like Czech Republic, Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, are we very present. Abroad, South Africa, America, India, Korea, are we also present with an own office. What do we do on this? We have in our system, these are all the countries where we have an actual sales office who can help you with the after sales part. But we also have in a lot of companies our own factories. And this is the part where we can make the difference compared to a lot of competitors. We have our own sales structure, but we create also our own products. So we have almost every product in own manufacturing, what makes a huge difference, not only for the end customers, but also on the OEM customers. If they want a very specific design, if they want to change something, if they want, for example, a higher quality or a higher cleanability from the pump, this is something that we can discuss with our engineering and make a difference compared to. This is a little bit the way of working of Verder. So to have the whole system in hands, from manufacturing to the sales part to the after sales part, is all in one group.
Kenneth, thank you so much. I'll put Kenneth's details in the description so you can contact him wherever you are in the world, as you heard. Have a conversation around that, because obviously food safety right now is incredibly important, and nothing is more important in your food safety, obviously, than your pumps. Kenneth de Mielemeister, thank you so much for joining me on scottkundle.com.
Hey, Scott, thank you very much for the talk.